happy people, Tracy Reed here today, and we are starting in Silhouette today because I have a freebie cut file for you. It says My Whole World, obviously, and it matches my Felicity collection because today we are going to be making a layout with the Felicity collection, and I wanted to show you a hack on how to use my digital files in your Silhouette software really easily to print and cut and to fill these letters so that you don't have to piece them together on the Silhouette mat. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this cut file, because this one I'm just going to cut out of white cardstock. I'm going to take it off of the page because I just want to work with the letters. And since I'm going to be printing and cutting, I want my canvas to be 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to center this here, change my canvas size to 8.5 by 11 or letter, or A4, I guess, if that is what you use in your neck of the woods. I'm going to turn on my registration marks, and now I am ready to start filling these letters so that I can print and cut them very easily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the patterned cards from the Felicity collection because they are a nice size, the pattern, for these letters. So I'm just going to, let's pull in the 6x4s, let's pull in the 4x6s, just so that they're vertical. And then all you have to do is drag and drop this pattern onto a letter. So you can pick whatever letter you want, and you can see that it actually makes the pattern pretty small. So if I do the 3x4s, maybe it won't make it so small. Still pretty small. But what you can do if you don't want it quite that small is you can go to the palette over here, which has the fills that you can choose, and you can go to fill pattern here, and you can actually change the scale. So you don't want to make it too big, because if you make it bigger than the original, it will get pixelated. But if you bump it up to 200%, you can see the pattern gets nice and large in those letters. So I'm going to do it again with this one, choose the letter, bump it up to 200%. And then repeat the process with all of these letters until I'm happy with the patterns that I have chosen. Now from here, you can go ahead and just print and cut, send it through your printer, send it through your Silhouette machine, and you are good to go. So let's hop over to the real world, and I'm going to put my layout together. Okay, so first we're starting with this paper, which actually, if you look here, is a paper from the collection that I have just added some digital mixed media to before printing. Now I printed it at 11.5 by 11.5 because even though my printer is 12 by 12 or can print 12 by 12, it won't print 12 by 12 all the way to the edges. And that's okay, because matting this on this beautiful blue rich cardstock that matches the Felicity collection really frames this layout very well and makes it pop, and makes all of that blue mixed media on the background pop as well. So that is a really simple trick for sort of hacking mixed media, is just print it out. I include mixed media in nearly all of my digital kits. It's fun to use, and it's quick and easy, and it looks like you did so much more work than you actually did. I'm using a Traveler's Notebook signature from the Felicity collection to mat this large photo that I've printed. I love this paper, or this photo, so I wanted it to be nice and large and the centerpiece of the page, obviously. And since we are using a rather large cut file, I'm just going to put it off to the side here so that I can frame the whole thing with the cut file, and then I will add in some embellishment clusters to 3 different points on the photo to frame the whole thing in. I've got a bunch of the Felicity stickers out, as well as some of the digital embellishments that I have printed out. Those flowers are from the digital embellishments. The majority of it is stickers, but the Mother's Day label, the flowers, they're from the digital kit. I like mixing and matching the digital kit embellishments as well as the stickers on my layouts, because it just gives you more options and more depth to your page too if you include the digital embellishments. So I'm going to create this little cluster here that says magic moment, and I'm going to stick this tab so that you can still see the blue stripes. There's no real blue in my photo, so I'm making sure that I include a lot of that rich royal blue from the collection in my embellishments so that everything looks cohesive and not out of place. This ampersand is from the digital kit. Cute. I'm going to pop up the flowers on the foam tape so that they have a little bit of height on the page. They already have some faux depth from just because they're a digital embellishment, so they have shadows and things like that. So adding some height to them makes them look even more realistic. All right, cluster 1 down. Let's start with cluster 2. So I'm going to put this cluster over the tag that I already put down. I wanted to make sure that I put that tag down before everything got too stuck to the paper. So we're going to build outwards from the photo. We have big smiles, Mother's Day 2024, and then I'm going to add in, of course, another flower. I always like to anchor my embellishment clusters with things like flowers or stars or something like that, an icon rather than just all words. That one's popped up on foam tape as well. And then I have these labels from the digital kit that say, how lucky am I that I get to love you? And I'm going to use that to finish framing out this cluster. I love all of the green in this collection. When I took this photo, I was like, okay, what collection can I use with this photo? And then I was like, duh, Felicity has all of that beautiful green that's going to match perfectly. My last cluster is just going to be a floral one down here in the bottom corner to finish off this triangle, this visual triangle. And then I'm going to start adding in the cut file as well. So I will say that if you make the cut file too small, you can see that the little floral rainbow gets pretty delicate, and I ripped mine taking it off of the mat. So be really careful with it, or don't make it too small, and you should be good to go. But it's okay. I just pieced it back together once it went on the page, and you can't tell. If you rip it, don't worry, you can't tell. So I'm going to stick it down, and then I'm going to use it as a guide for all of those letters that I print and cut with the Felicity papers. And then I will stick down, I will finish gluing it down. I wish I had my fine line glue, but I hadn't been delivered yet when I was doing this layout, and I just couldn't wait because I love this photo so much. I just had to work with it. Sorry, I stick my head in here a couple times, just making sure that everything gets nice and aligned. I'm trying to work fast as well, so that if I need to move the outlines around a little bit so that they line up with the letters a little bit better, they're not too stuck to the paper. That liquid glue is drying as we speak. So trying to work a little bit fast. I mixed up the letters, or the patterns that I put on the letters, so that there was no like blue next to blue or green next to green, and there was a nice broad range of colors represented for each of the letters. So you can see the pinks are nice and separated. And I even used some white base papers, even though it was going on a white based layout, just because I liked the variation. So I've got these almost all the way down. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take the negative spaces from the white cut file, and I'm going to put them in the letters now that they are down. Using the letters themselves as a guide makes it super easy instead of trying to put them down and then align the letters, the patterned letters afterwards. And I actually think that those little white outlines really add a lot to the cut file and delineate those letters a little bit better than they looked before. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pull out some sequins from my stash. There are some Spiegel Mom scrap sequins from a million years ago, but they match perfectly with that rich blue. The sequins are a little bit more orange than the coral in the Felicity collection, but I think it still matches pretty well. I'm getting real close, dancing back and forth here. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link to the cut file in the description box below, and I will see you next time. Thank you.